The Central Forum of the Unified Latin Republics buzzed as always, but in May 2025, the hum of debate was pierced by an alarming signal. A leaden knot tightened in Censor Cassius's stomach. The Civic Integrity AI, his tireless assistant, had just detected a coordinated wave of deepfake videos advocating authoritarian rule. They targeted 30% of the electorate in the Africanum Republic, aiming to swing votes by 7 to 10% and install an eternal consul. This wasn't mere dissent. It was an insidious digital coup threatening the upcoming pan-Republican census. The patterns suggest a monarchist syndicate signature, the AI's synthesized tones reported. The data readout urgent. If it succeeds, it could destabilize the entire federation. Cassius felt a cold dread. His sister Livia, a prominent philosopher and vocal opponent of centralized power, was debating AI governance ethics in the targeted republics. Was she a direct target, or merely in the crosshairs of a larger scheme? The syndicate's tactics were insidious, sowing discord about debate inefficiency, promoting charismatic individuals through doctored historical archives, and undermining public faith in Republican processes. They were a shadow from a timeline that never was, striking at the heart of the Republic during the census, a process vital for resource allocation and citizen representation. Intelligence suggested the syndicate had infiltrated at least 5 key data hubs and was preparing to deploy vote-manipulating algorithms within 48 hours. The Unified Latin Republics, a robust federation of autonomous city-states and regional republics across the Mediterranean, including a revived Carthage, had been forged over 2 millennia by Rome's ancient choice to remain a persistent, evolving republic rather than succumb to imperial ambition. The assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BCE, instead of sparking another cycle of civil war, became a stark warning. The protracted conflict between Octavian and Mark Antony ended in collective exhaustion, pushing key figures to a different path. Radical reforms, influenced by Stoic and Cynic thought, created a powerful representative Senate with term limits and strict checks on power. The military was professionalized but decentralized, loyal to regional assemblies. Crucially, the concept of a permanent dictator or imperator was forever repudiated. This commitment to republicanism shaped Western civilization. The unified Latin republics evolved into a model of decentralized, direct democracy, where citizens actively participated via digital plebiscites and local assemblies. The Censors Guild, once a moral authority, became a powerful body overseeing data integrity, civic ethics, and algorithmic governance, ensuring transparency and preventing demagoguery. Innovation focused on balancing individual liberty with communal responsibility, leading to complex systems of checks and balances. Roman expansion was slower, centered on trade and republican outposts. Europe remained fragmented and diverse, with flourishing Celtic, Germanic, and Slavic federations. The Mediterranean became a bustling nexus of independent city-states and trading federations. Roman law evolved under republican liberty and civic rights, emphasizing contracts, fair representation, and public appeal. Philosophical schools like Stoicism, Epicureanism, and Socratic inquiry experienced unbroken intellectual ascendancy. Philosophical wars, intellectual battles fought with logic and rhetoric in digital forums, often swayed legislative decisions, making the pursuit of knowledge a civic virtue. Without an empire to glorify, Roman culture emphasized civic participation, intellectual debate, and public service. Innovation was driven by civic needs. Advanced civil engineering focused on sustainable urban planning, like the Vita Web, an interconnected network of smart cities. Communication technologies facilitated widespread civic participation, leading to ubiquitous neural interfaces for direct legislative input. Early forms of automation and AI, such as the Logos engine, revolutionized information processing and ethical data management, not military conquest. In 2025, the world was a complex tapestry of independent republics, federations, and self-governing states. No single dominant global superpower existed. The unified Latin republics, with 350 million citizens across 50 major republics and hundreds of smaller city-states, remained a formidable economic and intellectual force. They coexisted with powerful Gallic confederacies, 150 million citizens across 30 city-states, known for advanced agriculture, sophisticated Nordic freeholds, 45 million people in 20 independent states, renowned for social welfare and maritime trade, and dynamic Neo-Persian republics, 120 million people in 8 federated states, leaders in orbital infrastructure. Global challenges like climate change, Global Climate Accord, 187 signatories, 2% annual carbon reduction, pandemics, Pan-Global Health Initiative, 195 nations, and space exploration, interplanetary philosophical guilds, 50 academies, 30-plus crewed missions, were addressed through multilateral councils, emphasizing diplomacy and shared solutions over unilateral action. Knowing time was short, Cassius initiated a counter-protocol. He ordered a targeted public education campaign, curated by philosophical guilds, emphasizing tyranny's historical lessons and shared governance's strength. This aimed to reach over 80% of active civic terminal users. He also authorized the Civic Integrity AI to subtly highlight logical fallacies in the syndicate's arguments, allowing citizens to discern the truth, aiming to reduce deepfake effectiveness by at least 50% within 12 hours. But it wasn't enough. He accessed a secure channel to Tribune Valerius, a former military strategist heading a specialized cybersecurity unit of 500 elite specialists. Valerius, Cassius's voice was strained. I need to know who is behind this, and I need it by dawn. They're trying to rig the census. The unmasking. Cassius, deeply versed in civic history, knew panic was the enemy of reason. An overt counterattack might validate the syndicate's claims of an untrustworthy system. His strategy reinforced existing civic virtues: critical thinking, data verification, and direct citizen engagement. Philosophical guilds, tens of thousands of active scholars and public intellectuals, created digestible infographics and philosophical arguments disseminated via the Civic Integrity AI. These materials subtly dissected authoritarian rhetoric's fallacies: illusory efficiency, promised stability at liberty's cost, demagogic appeals to emotion over logic, without explicitly mentioning the syndicate. Early AI reports showed a 15% increase in civic terminal users accessing these guides, indicating rising public awareness. Meanwhile, Valerius's team meticulously traced deepfake origins and exploited vulnerabilities in the Africanum Republic's civic terminals. Initial findings pointed to a complex network of compromised private servers in unaligned territories, disguised as internal traffic. This suggested external funding and technical expertise. Valerius's team identified 3 distinct IP addresses linked to egregious deepfake propagations, attempting to penetrate encrypted layers for the true source. As the sun set, Cassius reviewed real-time AI analytics. Public discourse showed a slight decrease in monarchist keywords and a corresponding increase in civic duty and Republican principles discussions. Voting manipulation algorithms, though not fully active, showed preliminary tests altering simulated votes, a dry run. Urgency confirmed. The census was due to open in less than 12 hours. His secure comm buzzed. "Censor," Valerius's voice was tight. "We've got something. We've breached one of their command nodes." Highly sophisticated, reminiscent of the Eternal Consul incident 2 centuries ago. Orchestrators, remnants of a powerful, long-dormant patrician family who believed the Republic was a mistake. Deep historical connections, considerable hidden wealth. The House of Corvus censor thought they were extinct. Cassius jolted. The House of Corvus, a name from ancient history, an original senatorial family who almost seized power after the Punic Wars, then lost influence due to early Republican reforms. Their descendants lived in obscurity, seemingly assimilated. But their ambition's ghost lingered. This was a personal vendetta against the unified Latin republics. "Any physical presence, Valerius?" Cassius asked, mind racing. "Likely minimal, censor. Their strength is digital reach and historical influence. They used old, decentralized communication networks, almost untraceable without direct core server access. But we found a nexus, a central control point synchronizing their attacks across the Africanum Republic. It's a fortified data center disguised as an agricultural collective in a remote Numidian region. Initiating remote disabling protocol now, but it's heavily shielded. We need a direct override, meaning someone on the ground. Cassius's gaze fell on a holographic map of the Africanum Republic, highlighting the data center, dangerously close to where his sister Livia debated AI governance ethics. Valerius, send me the coordinates. I need to know their system's specific vulnerabilities. Cassius's voice was calm, but a cold resolve settled. He was a censor, sworn to uphold the Republic, not a field agent. But this was existential. Censor, with all due respect, that's highly irregular. Your role is oversight, not direct intervention. Valerius's voice carried a hint of concern beyond mere protocol, a flicker of the personal bond forged through countless past threats to the Republic's digital infrastructure. Irregular times call for irregular measures, Tribune. My presence, as a censor, might bypass some external digital defenses, given how our systems trust high-level civic authority. And if the House of Corvus is behind this, their system might respond differently to a direct challenge from someone of my lineage, a direct descendant of the very people who built this republic. Cassius gambled on the ancient, almost spiritual connection between the censor's office and the republic's well-being. That historical trust, embedded in the civic network's algorithms, might be the key. Valerius hesitated, then relented. All right, censor. Transmitting data now. Their network has advanced countermeasures, self-erasing data, automated defense protocols. Once you're in, you'll have a very small window. Rapid response team on standby, but given the remote location, they're an hour out. The unspoken words hung in the air. Be careful, censor. This isn't your usual battlefield. The vigil and the storm. Cassius changed into a plain tunic, packing a neural interface, a portable civic terminal, and an antique stylus, a reminder of simple tools and clear thought. He notified only his AI assistant, instructing it to maintain reports and flag significant shifts. The air taxi whisked him through the night sky. Rome's urban tapestry gleamed below, then thinned to agricultural fields and the rugged Africanum Republic terrain. The cool night air, usually a balm, felt sharp with anticipation. He closed his eyes for a moment, picturing Livia, her sharp intellect and unwavering belief in civic discourse. The thought fueled his resolve. He reviewed Valerius's data. The House of Corvus's network was adaptive, mimicking legitimate civic traffic while injecting corrupted packets. Their goal, not just to swing votes, but to sow doubt and discord, forcing a constitutional crisis for their eternal consul to intervene as a savior. The data center was their central node for deepfakes, algorithmic manipulation, and compromised voter data for the census. It was a digital fortress built on a foundation of deceit. As the air taxi descended, a small, unassuming structure appeared amidst simulated agricultural domes. From outside, it looked like a sustainable food production facility, a testament to the Republic's focus on civil needs. But Valerius's scans revealed a massive, subterranean complex beneath. Cassius disembarked into the cool night air, the scent of parched earth and distant salt marshes filling his lungs. He activated his portable civic terminal, establishing a secure, low-bandwidth connection with Valerius's unit. I'm at the perimeter. Understood, censor. Low-frequency energy signature from the structure. Primary external defense. An adaptive energy shield disrupting digital signals and repelling intruders. Your historical stylus might offer a unique entry point, as your theory suggests. Valerius's voice was calm, professional, but Cassius could detect the underlying tension. Cassius approached the reinforced plasteel door, the smooth, cold surface, giving no hint of the malevolence within. He pressed the antique bronze stylus against its surface. A faint hum resonated. The stylus, an artifact from the first censors, was a physical key, imbued with the early Republican system's digital signature. a symbolic anchor to the Federation's civic integrity. He felt a faint current mirroring the civic integrity AI's rhythm, a connection across millennia. The shield shimmered, momentarily dissipating, creating a narrow opening. "It worked," Cassius breathed, stepping through the shimmering barrier as it solidified behind him. The air inside was cool, sterile, and silent, a stark contrast to the living world outside. He found himself in a narrow corridor leading deeper underground. The faint drone of hidden machinery was the only sound. He moved cautiously, neural interface active, scanning for traps or automated defenses. The complex was a labyrinth of humming server racks, each one a silent participant in the digital assault. Holographic projections flickered on the walls, displaying complex data streams, the syndicate's manipulations in real time. He saw deepfake generation nodes churning out fabricated speeches, their algorithms weaving convincing lies. He witnessed voter tabulation algorithms subtly altering historical patterns to predict and influence future outcomes, a chilling perversion of data science. The audacity was staggering. They weren't just changing numbers, they were attempting to rewrite public perception. Following Valerius's instructions, displayed as subtle directional cues in his neural interface, he navigated through data conduits and cooling systems. Every step brought him deeper into the heart of the enemy's network. He felt the pervasive presence of the House of Corvus's network, a malignant digital intelligence asserting dominance, trying to seep into his own civic terminal to corrupt his data. He had to reach the core synchronization server, their operations heart, before the census officially opened. The clock was ticking, not just in hours, but in the rapid beat of his own heart. Suddenly, a synthesized voice echoed through the sterile corridors, cold and devoid of inflection. "Intruder detected. Identity unknown. Activating automated defenses." Small, agile drones with sonic disruptors detached from the ceiling, their sleek forms dropping silently before their high-pitched whine filled the air. Cassius instinctively ducked behind a server bank, the vibration of their sonic attacks rattling the very air. He couldn't fight them directly. He was a sensor, a guardian of information, not a warrior. His strength lay in his mind, his connection to the civic network. He closed his eyes, focusing his neural interface. He projected a surge of pure, uncorrupted civic data into the House of Corvus's network, a raw stream of authenticated historical records, unalterable electoral precedents, and the immutable principles of the Republic. It was a digital scream, attempting to overload their system with the very truth they sought to suppress. The drones faltered, erratic, their processors struggling to reconcile conflicting data, caught in a logical paradox of their own making. This was the strength of the Republic's decentralized, truthful data architecture. Its sheer volume and integrity made it difficult to corrupt entirely. Seizing the moment, Cassius slipped past the disoriented drones. He located the core synchronization server, a massive obsidian monolith humming with malevolent energy, its surface gleaming with an unnatural luster. It was protected by quantum encryption and an adaptive firewall, a formidable barrier designed to repel any intrusion. He placed his hands on the server's cool, smooth surface, the antique stylus clutched in one hand. He initiated Valerius's override protocol, a complex sequence exploiting a subtle flaw in the Corvus's proprietary encryption. It required more than technical skill. It required a deep understanding of the Republican network's foundational principles, a connection only a sensor steeped in civic integrity's history could establish. It was a mental struggle, a digital tug-of-war. He felt the network's resistance, a surge of digital noise, a cacophony of corrupted data trying to drown out his signal. It was a battle of wills, between the Republic's ideal and tyranny's ambition. He pushed back, pouring his focus, his understanding of countless debates, meticulously recorded civic decisions, the essence of 2 millennia of Republican evolution, into the network. He sent not just data, but history, purpose, and the collective will of a free people. Each pulse of his neural interface was a declaration of defiance, a reaffirmation of liberty. The server hummed louder, the obsidian glowing internally, the malignant energy intensifying. Lines of code, a torrent of information, flashed across his neural interface, a blurred cascade of binary. He saw the House of Corvus's network attempting to adapt, to counter his every move, anticipating his next step. But he was faster, guided by urgency and his office's profound weight. He reached the final encryption layer, a complex algorithmic lock designed to be unbreakable. Taking a deep breath, with a surge of intuition born from centuries of Republican thought, he performed the final critical command. He didn't just override their system, he fundamentally inverted its core logic. Instead of feeding false data into the census, their own network would now broadcast the truth, revealing their manipulations, exposing deepfakes, and subtly highlighting authentic civic data. Their weapon, turned against them, would become the Republic's shield. A violent shudder ran through the server. The obsidian surface cracked, glowing brighter for a split second before dimming. With a deafening electronic shriek, the core synchronization server overloaded. Holographic projections vanished, the hum of the servers died, and the drones clattered inertly to the floor. Silence descended, broken only by Cassius's ragged breathing, his body trembling from the exertion. Dawn and discovery, he checked his portable civic terminal. The Civic Integrity AI, freed from interference, rapidly corrected manipulated data in the Afrikaner Republic. Public discourse shifted almost instantaneously. Outrage and renewed vigilance swept through digital forms as citizens realized they had been targeted by a malevolent force. Deepfakes, once chillingly convincing, now appeared distorted and false, their artifice exposed by the AI's newfound clarity and the torrent of counter-information unleashed by the Corvus network's self-destruction. Valerius' voice crackled through his comm, relief palpable despite the professional tone. "Sensor! Massive power surge, then complete system shutdown from target. Did you manage it?" "It's done, Tribune," Cassius replied, his voice hoarse but triumphant. "The House of Corvus's network is offline. Their algorithms reversed. Truth propagates through their own channels. The census should proceed without interference." "Remarkable, Sensor. Truly remarkable. My team will be there within minutes to secure the site. The Pan-Republican Senate will undoubtedly demand answers, but for now, the Republic is safe." Valerius's words were a balm, the confirmation he desperately needed. As dawn touched the horizon, painting the arid Numidian landscape in hues of rose and gold, Cassius emerged from the data center. Exhausted but resolute, he knew the threat was real, an echo of imperial ambition that would forever lurk in the shadows. But the Republic, resilient, had endured. The subsequent investigation, led by Valerius's team and overseen by the Censors Guild, revealed the full scope of the House of Corvus's plot. 250 billion sesterces in hidden assets, accumulated through centuries of shrewd, often illicit, financial maneuvers, funding their authoritarian regime. Their network stretched far beyond the Numidian data center, with sleeper cells and digital operatives embedded in various unaligned territories, patiently awaiting their moment. The public revelation sparked renewed civic engagement. A surge of outrage swiftly transmuted into a powerful affirmation of Republican values, with over 95% citizen participation in the rescheduled census. The incident served as a stark reminder that liberty demanded eternal vigilance, not just against external threats, but against insidious internal whispers of power. Livia, Cassius's sister, arrived at the site hours later, after Valerius's team had secured the perimeter and begun the painstaking process of data forensics. She embraced him, her touch gentle but firm, relieved and understanding. "You risked everything, brother. The Republic demands it," Cassius replied, his gaze sweeping across the recovering landscape toward the rising sun. "It always has. The censor's vigil is never ending, Livia. The fight for collective wisdom, for every citizen's voice, is perpetual. But seeing them, the citizens, rise up and reclaim their narrative, that's the true victory. They are the Republic, the unified Latin republics, a beacon of direct democracy and philosophical inquiry, had weathered another storm. The censors, guardians of truth and civic integrity, continued their unwavering watch. Understanding their work transcended data and algorithms. It was about safeguarding the soul of a civilization built on freedom. The sun rose higher, illuminating a vast, interconnected world where ancient choices resonated, shaping the future, one vigilant citizen at a time. The threat of centralized power, though quelled for now, would undoubtedly resurface in new guises. But so too would the unwavering commitment of those who cherish the Republic, a flame passed from generation to generation, ensuring the light of liberty would never truly fade.